At this time of year, we breathe a sign of relief. The snow has finally melted and winter is behind us. We're already dreaming about hot and sunny summer days, but to make the most of the season, we need to open our in-ground or built-in pool as soon as possible. It is my best advice to keep your pool water clean and clear. By the way, you can open your pool as soon as the block of ice is cleared from the pool walls. We'll put everything we removed last fall back in place. My advice to ensure you have all the accessories you'll need in hand is to watch this video in its entirety before starting the opening procedures. It will help you find the skimmer basket, plugs, water return parts, etc. The first step, if you have installed the window cover, whether opaque or mesh, is to remove it. We already did that, so we're ready for the next steps. We will now put the pump accessories and the basket back in place without forgetting our drain plugs. If you have a built-in pool, your pump was stored for the winter. We'll put it back in place. The expansion plugs that we use to protect the pipes must be removed. All is left to do is to screw the unions. We'll put back the accessories, equipment, and the cartridge filter, starting with the manometer. Ensure to wind the threads with Teflon tape, but not too tight. We'll put the cartridge back inside. In this case, we need to unscrew the locking ring. Now that we removed the lid, we can put the cartridges back in place. Before you put the lid back in place, wipe the gasket and around the filter. It's time to put the accessories for the sand filter in place. It will be ready to operate when we start the pool. Prepare your collar for the backwash hose. We'll reinstall the drain plug, side glass, and the gasket. When reinstalling the manometer, ensure it is coated with Teflon tape and don't over-tighten it. If your in-ground or built-in pool is equipped with a heat pump, it's simple. The pipes are already in place. If your unit has a drain plug, normally you've put it back in place when you close your pool, but check that it is in place. The antifreeze we used is non-toxic, so we can turn on the unit without any problem. If your in-ground or built-in pool is equipped with a salt system, we'll put back and connect everything, starting with the water line. If you've used a replacement hose, we will unscrew it and reposition our cell. The cell is connected to the control box by the connecting wire. We will put it back in place. Then, the water flow sensor, the flow switch, and the power cord. If your pool is already at 65 degrees Fahrenheit, you can start your salt system in the auto position now. If not, you'll need to wait because the water needs to reach this temperature for the salt system to work. As long as the water temperature is below 65 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll need to use chlorine. If you have an ozonator, it is essential to connect it after you have started the pool, so when the pump runs. The plumbing is already connected to the water line. We've put it back in place at the closing. However, the green wire that connects the control box to the plumbing must be ideally replaced each year. When you have your new green wire, we'll connect it to the plumbing first and then to the control box. If you have a chlorinator, it was stored for the winter. We'll recover it and put it back in place. Be careful when you connect the piping to the plumbing. The hose that is connected to the switch is the water inlet. It's time to connect it to the plumbing between the pump and the filter. You will connect the other pipe further on the return line. When using your chlorine tablets, place them inside and choose the proper gradation for your needs. If you have stored your water blades or removable waterfalls for the winter, we'll put them back in place. As for the plumbing, we'll need to remove the expansion plug and screw back everything. Of course, if you have a light, you'll connect the power cord and that's it. If you have jets in your pool steps, we'll also need to put them back in place as you stored them for the winter. The jets have a retractable part. When you screw the jets in your steps, you'll need to constantly pull on this part to maintain it in extension throughout the screwing. When it's all done, we'll push it in the wall and turn the jet in the open position. Step by step, we'll unscrew the yellow plugs we have inserted in the water return. We are ready to put back the water return's parts in place. Ensure you have 3 pieces. It's a good idea to pre-assemble them as the water is not really warm at this time of the year. We'll direct the opening at an angle of 45 degrees downward. Choose the most advantageous orientation to get a good water flow to the skimmer. We'll remove the foam blocks inside the skimmer. Don't forget the plug underneath. Then we will put the basket, the door, and the lid back in place. There are many types of lights, so depending on your installation, we will look at how to put the light back in function for the summer. Let's start with the Brio or Gaia. It is the same type of installation for both. They are only different sizes. You'll need the tool to unscrew the central part, the cap that we've used for the winter. Once you have removed the cap, you can put your light back in place. If you have an atom light, this portion is built in the pool wall. You'll need to pull the wire to work outside the water. There are 3 screws at the back. We'll unscrew them, but we won't remove them completely. We just need to loosen them enough to remove the red cap we've put in place for the winter. It will allow us to reinstall the light by putting back in place the 3 screws. Now you need to put the wire back into the base. This pool has an argon light. We'll remove the winter cap by simply unscrewing it directly in the water. When it is out of the water, we can unscrew the winter cap and put the light back in place. We only need to put it back in place. Now that the equipment is connected and everything is in place, we are ready to start up the pump. The startup must always be done when there is water. You can bring a water bucket and pour water directly into the strainer or use a garden hose to fill the pump. We'll ensure that the path is open from the filter to the pump, so we close the backwash. If you have a skimmer valve or a bottom drain, we'll do this one line at a time to start them. So now that my strainer is full, I'll put the lid back. If the water level is high enough, start with the skimmer line. Otherwise, you can start with the bottom drain line. Once the water circulates well inside the motor strainer, we can gradually open the second water line. When the pump is fully on, open the valve on the cartridge filter to let excess air out. When the water flows out of the valve, we'll close it. To complete the opening of your in-ground or built-in pool, add some Trevigo to destroy all organic matter and the maintenance products you bought for your type of sanitation system. I recommend reading the instructions on the packaging to ensure proper use. It's also time to take inventory of the products from the previous year. They may be expired. You'll also need to buy new strips or droplets to test your water throughout the summer. Talking about water testing, it's essential that you have your water analyzed at one of our stores at the beginning of the season to start the summer with clean and balanced water. If you want more tips and advice, visit trevi.ca. Have a great summer.